What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Torino Career Mode. This is episode number 66, and we start today's episode off with a look at the successful negotiations page, all the players that left the club and joined the club over the past two transfer windows. And of course, if you missed the last couple episodes, I highly recommend you go back and watch them, because as you can see, we signed Sergio Aguero from Real Madrid for £45 million, and also sold Paulo Dybala to Barcelona for £66.6 million. Those were crazy episodes. I don't think anyone was expecting anything like that to happen in this January transfer window. But either way, Aguero's come in, Dybala's left, and as I mentioned in the last episode, yes, we're sad about Dybala going because he was such a great young prospect and a really good striker for us. But Aguero coming in for £21 million cheaper, I mean, I feel like I've done some great business there. And if he continues to score goals, then I'll be very, very pleased with what we've done. Still, we take on Genoa for the first game of today's episode here, back in the Serie A after our victory in the Coppa Italia first leg semi-final against Roma. And the first chance would fall to us in the 12th minute, and the first goal would also be scored by us as well. Manolo Gabbiadini grabbing another goal for us. He came in the first season, Gabbiadini. He's only grown a couple of ratings, but he's always been a pretty solid performer for us. Always pops up with a goal every now and then, and a helping handful of assists as well. He does open the scoring here. It's now his 5th goal in the Serie A so far, and he makes it Torino 1, Genoa 0. And in the 30th minute, a good chance to make it 2-0. Gabbiadini, the goal scorer, leads the counter-attack and finds Sergio Aguero, the new man. He plays it through towards Immobile, takes it around his man with a quick little step over, gets himself inside to shoot, and also finds the back of the net as well. So Aguero's come in, and he provided the assist for both of these early goals in the first half an hour here as Immobile makes it 2-0. And I brought him in to score the goals, but right now he's happy playing the provider, as he knows his teammates are going to find the back of the net as well as he can when he gets the chance. He finds Immobile. That's now his 11th goal in the Serie A this season. And I did say as well when Dybala left, you know, Immobile's still been scoring goals, don't forget. Yes, Dybala scored the majority, but Immobile still got loads as well. So that's now his 11th goal to Serie A so far this season. And in the 60th minute, well, it's going to happen eventually. Sergio Aguero grabs a goal and makes it Torino 3, Genoa 0. And here's a question for you guys. How many league goals will Aguero score in the Serie A this season? That's now his 2nd goal since coming in. How many league goals do you think he's going to end up with before this season ends? He's only got half a season to work with. I'm going to go with, it's a lot to ask for, but I'm going to go with 10. I think he's going to hit double figures, hit 10 goals, and that's how many I think he's going to end up with come the end of the season. So let me know how many league goals, that's Serie A goals, you think Aguero will end up with at the end of this season. I'm going to go with 10, and yes, that's quite a lot to ask for, considering we're in the second half of the season now, and he's got to find his feet as early as possible. But I think he can do that, and I think he's going to score 10 goals. But be sure to let me know how many you'll think he'll score at the end of the season. Still, it's 3-0 to Torino, and to be honest with you, Genoa in this game, they weren't exactly playing terribly, but as a side who last season finished in 3rd place with a surprise package of the league, we're doing really, really well, and for a long time we're actually our closest title rivals. In this game, they just didn't really know how to defend at all, and after some nice passing, we worked our way at the pitch, picked out Ciro Immobile, who cuts inside, finesses the ball past Perrine, and makes it Torino 4, Genoa 0. So defensively, they were all at sea. They, you know, barely had the ball at their feet, and whenever they did, they kept on misplacing passes, and it was pretty routine for us to just put a foot on the ball, really, and control the game from there on out. So Torino 4, Genoa 0, the away side not doing too well. In the 81st minute, Immobile almost grabbed his hat-trick, but his shot goes just wide the post and behind for a goal kick. So still Torino 4, Genoa 0. And in the 84th minute, a good chance for Genoa to try and grab themselves a goal back in the game and just get a consolation goal if nothing else. Lestienne strike goes wide the post though and behind for a goal kick. And it was how the game would finish, Torino 4, Genoa 0. So delighted with that win. A really solid performance, a much deserved win for us. As you'll see with the stats, we were in control from the first minute really, as we dominated possession and the shots and only allowed just a single one from Genoa, which was off target. Aguero was my player of the match for the first time since coming in. He grabbed a couple of assists and also a goal as well. Always nice to see when a striker's not only putting the goals in, but also providing them as well. So Torino 4, Genoa 0. And going into the next game against Milan here, that was going to give us a lot of confidence. However, we were going to be without 3 of our players, and it wasn't due to injury or suspension. It was due to those players leaving the club and going on international duty. Yes, Masaccio, Danilo and Aguero, all 3 of those players seemed to disappear without any warning. But surprisingly, I was still able to put them on their bench, and I thought this was kind of interesting. The game told me that I wasn't able to put them in the first team and the first 11 because they're away on international duty, yet I'm able to put them on the bench. So they're not allowed to be in the first 11 because they're, you know, not allowed to be part of the match day squad apparently, but the bench for some reason doesn't count as the match day squad. I don't know, this game is just ridiculous. First, I don't even get a warning that those players are going away on international duty. Second, there are no international games in the international fixtures when I look. And thirdly, there is supposed to be across the other side of the world playing in some kind of international tournament or just fixtures for their country, presumably in South America as they're all South American players, yet they're still able to be on my bench. And I can't put them in the first 11 because apparently that's not part of the matchday squad. And it's like, sorry, the bench isn't part of the matchday squad. And it's like, what? You know, like what? How many things are wrong with those things I just said there? It's ridiculous. So either way, we had those players on the bench. Not Danilo, I left him in the reserves, but Aguero and Masaccio on the bench regardless as we take on Milan for the second of 3 games in today's episode here. The first chance did fall to Milan, but Bernie made a really good stop smothering his body. Another good chance for Milan here, but this shot goes over the bar from Bonaventura and behind for a goal kick. So still Milan 0, Torino 0. And in the 35th minute, we had our first chance of the game as Clement Grenier gets on the ball and finds Alex Sandro. Nice little free ball towards Immobile down the left-hand side. Takes it around Paletta, gets himself inside to shoot, but Diego Lopez pulls off a really good save, and the former Real Madrid goalkeeper turns it behind for a corner. So good stop there by the Spanish goalkeeper, and it is still 0-0. In the 44th minute, there was a good chance for Milan to open the scoring as Abate goes down the right-hand side, and the rapid right-back takes it around Grenier, crosses the ball to the far post, picks out Keizuki Honda, and the Japanese international makes it Milan 1, Torino 0 just before the break. So Honda getting on the end of the cross and heading it past Bernie into the back of the net. This guy's now scored 4 goals against me since we started the series with Torino. Whenever I play Milan, he's always the danger man, and he does make it Milan 1, Torino 0. So good header from Keizuki Honda there. Bernie can't get to it. It's past him in a flash, and it's Milan 1, Torino 0, courtesy of the Japanese player. So 1-0 to the home side, and on the stroke of half-time, good chance for them to double their lead. Bonaventura gets on the ball and finds Honda, looking for his second goal of the game. Instead finds Abate, but his shot is well saved by Bernie and eventually cleared away. So still Milan 1, Torino 0. But 10 minutes after the restart, a good chance to make it 1-1 here as Immobile's persistence pays off and he wins the ball back for us. Drills in a cross, picks out Poloski, but the shot is well saved by Diego Lopez, and his follow-up touch goes straight into the goalkeeper's gloves. And it was how the game would finish as well. Milan 1, Torino 0. So for the first time in the Serie A this season, we have been defeated. Very, very disappointed about that. Really am, to be honest, because we had lost once previously this season to Real Madrid away at the Bernabeu in the Champions League, but this is our first league defeat of the season, and I briefly touched on it in the last episode and said, you never know, we could possibly go undefeated, but clearly that's the curse of the commentator right there. We're not going to go undefeated. We have been beaten for the first time in the league this season by Milan, so disappointed about that. We're still top of the table, yes, by a few points, but either way, always sad to lose your first game after having so many games avoiding defeat. Still, we take on Dortmund for the third and final game of today's episode here in the Champions League round of 16 first leg as the German side come and take us on to Stadio Olimpico de Torino. Once again, those problems with the players currently away on international duty were very, very annoying to see. However, I still put all 3 of them on the bench this time, so it's not really a big deal. And I guess that's something for you guys to check out as well. If that ever happens to you and your players go away on international duty without any word of warning, try and put them on the bench and see if the game lets you. Maybe they won't, maybe they will. Try and put them on the bench regardless. Maybe you'll be able to just bring them on right from kickoff if you want, just like nothing ever happened. Still, we do take on Dortmund for the third and final game of today's episode here. The first chance fell to us, but Poloski's shot hits the post and eventually Weidenfeller grabs the rebound. However, we would open the scoring in the 29th minute. A goal created by Hakan Çalhanoğlu, picking up another assist, and Keita applies the finishing touch. So Keita, who we signed in the summer transfer window from Lazio for £5 million or £6 million actually, I think it was, hasn't had too many opportunities to start games this season, but whenever he has gone on the pitch, he's done pretty well. And Hakan Çalhanoğlu plays the ball across the face of the goal there. Could have lost his composure there, Keita. The ball's bobbling across the ground. Could have easily blazed it into the stands. Instead, keeps it down, finds the back of the net, and makes it Torino 1, Borussia Dortmund 0. And Hakan set up 1 goal, and in the 40th minute set up a second goal as well. A lovely free kick from our Turkish midfielder, this time not going for goal. Picks out Alberto Poloski, and our striker makes it Torino 2, Dortmund 0. He hit the post with the first chance of the game, but he shaves the post with this goal. Lovely header from Poloski just inside that part, in the near post, and into the back of the net. A really solid header, and he makes it Torino 2, Dortmund 0. So his 4th goal in the Champions League this season, Poloski, and of course course, with Aguero now coming in to replace Dybala, it's very unlikely he'll ever play in the first team for an extensive period of time again, barring injuries to our current strikers. But either way, whenever he gets on the pitch, you know the Punisher's going to try and find the back of the net at every opportunity, and he did there to make it Torino 2, Dortmund 0. They almost scored a lovely goal to get themselves back in the game here for Aubameyang just a few minutes later, but Burnley made a really good save and turned it behind for a corner. And in the 45th minute, another good chance for them here as Bender takes a shot from just outside the area, but it goes wide the post and behind for a goal kick. So still Torino 2, Dortmund 0 going into the break as we were leading by those 2 goals. So delighted with our first half performance. In the second half, I wanted a bright start again as Alexandra gets on the ball for us, the left back, crossfields it towards Darmian, starting a right back in this game. Plays it inside towards Baselli. Baselli then plays that wide towards Alexandra, retaining possession here. Sandro finds Keita, who scored our first goal. Cut inside against Blazikowski. Is that a right pronunciation? Doesn't sound like it. Goes to shoot as well and also finds the back of the net. But Roman Weidenfeller, the German goalkeeper, the experienced goalkeeper for Borussia Dortmund, that was a rookie error. A really, really bad mistake from Weidenfeller as Keita cuts inside and shoots. Yes, there's shot power on the ball. It's a wet surface. That's always difficult for goalkeepers, I can tell you that. But at the end of the day, a goalkeeper of his experience, a goalkeeper of his ability, should not be getting beaten by that type of shot. It goes through his body into the back of his own net, and he knows, you can see by his reaction, that is his mistake. So Torino 3, Borussia Dortmund 0. Keita's second goal of the game. He was running the Dortmund defenders right in this game, and it was 3-0 to Torino. But in the 59th minute, Dortmund had a great chance to grab themselves a goal back in the game, and they would as well. Nuri Sahin with a lovely strike. How about that for the Turkish midfielder smashing the ball in there? We know Hakan can strike him from just outside the area, but Nuri Sahin can do the same as well, clearly. A really, really awesome strike there. It clips the inside of the post and goes into the back of the net, and Nuri Sahin makes it Torino 3, Borussia Dortmund 1. So a great strike there, and of course that goal could prove really, really significant because it is an away goal, and of course those can count double. So really good strike by Nuri Sahin. Certainly can't blame Burnley for that one, and he does get Dortmund back in the game just past the hour mark. So Torino 3, Dortmund 1, and in the 75th minute, a good chance for them to make it 3-2 here and possibly mount a late comeback. Shinji Kagawa's header goes just wide the post, and the former Manchester United man couldn't find the back of the net there. But it was how the game would finish. Torino 3, Borussia Dortmund 1. So yes, disappointed to throw away that goal on the hour mark there and lose our clean sheet and give up an away goal. But either way, we'll still have the upper hand going into the game in Germany for the second leg. And, you know, we're certainly not going to say we've got 1 foot in the quarterfinals. Without doubt, that is not the case. We know Dortmund are a great side and they can certainly beat us away from home. But either way, we are still going to be the favourites, and a good solid defensive display could see us going through to the quarterfinals. Regardless, that does end the episode, guys. So thank you very much for watching the video. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed today's episode of Torino Career Mode, then please do leave a like, and I'll see you for the next episode very soon.